Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today. I'm Jill Powers from Slate. I'm on the sales team, and I'm here with Garrett Jones, our VP of Product. Today's going to be more of a conversation than a presentation. We're talking about a problem everyone on this call has dealt with, chasing field updates and never quite trusting the progress data you get back.
Yes, if you've ever asked yourself, am I actually done in an area? What's going on in an area? Or what do I need to be worried about in the field while you're delivering a project? This presentation's for you.
Exactly. So we'll cover what our progress tool is, how teams are using it in the real world, how it helps with reporting and visibility, and how it compares to the old way of doing things. And then we'll wrap with what's coming next. So let's start simple, Garrett. In plain English, what is progress?
It's a great question. So, Progress is a tool, an application that lets field teams quickly provide real-time, accurate progress capture of field work for clarity in status, forecasts, and billing. And we'll dive into the details on that in a moment. It works by linking project schedules to BIM models, enabling activity level tracking of components. Anyone on site can quickly update installation status directly with a 3D model, as seen on the screen, and provide supporting photos for verification, so everyone, field and office, sees the same real-time picture of what's actually been installed.
Okay, so instead of updates living in someone's notebook or like a spreadsheet or some text thread.
Yeah, they're tied to the actual model elements and schedule activities. A key
Okay.
aspect of this product is you can click into something, and again, we'll show you a little more of that in a moment, to determine what's been done, what you need to do, what's not happening, and get the supporting proof from the field.
And and the key here is it's an app, a standalone app built for actual field guys in the field, like a very fast, simple, not like a 20-step reporting process with a lot of clicking and typing. It's more of like a touch and slide of the finger. And I think it's also really important to mention there's no need for Wi-Fi connectivity to use. A lot of times that's not ready yet. But then once you're connected, the data is automatically pushed into the cloud so everyone can see everything in real time. So, Garrett, one of the biggest questions we get is like, okay, but does this actually like, make a difference day to day? And maybe you can think and share of an example of this.
Sure, we have a few we'll walk through. So one great example is from one of our very first customers. Prior to using our tool Progress, they were doing manual walkdowns and updating spreadsheets at the end of the week using highlighted drawings that then got manually translated into an Excel table for product tracking. By the time management received this update, field conditions had changed and the impact of issues had been realized. It was all reactive. And so, if scope required verification, additional effort would be needed to gather more field data, creating a vicious cycle of feedback that was always behind the eight ball, limiting the impact you could have understanding what's happening in the field.
So, and that lagged, I imagine, caused a lot of issues, right?
That's exactly right. They were planning downstream work based on incomplete pictures of what the work had accomplished or had been accomplished to date. With our tool Progress, updates happen in real time. You're able to stream this information from the field directly to this model and linked schedule, which allows a customer, in this case, to capture incomplete installs earlier and avoid sending the next trade into areas that weren't actually ready. It was an important unlock for the way they were working in this phase construction. This prevented rework and schedule disruption.
And then I remember we spoke the other day, there was another customer that had a similar experience, but more on the communication side.
Yes. So another common pitfall with our clients is they use email to do things that email shouldn't be used for. And so instead of long email chains trying to explain site conditions and issues, hopefully making sense, again, requiring verification, this customer of ours was able to now attach photos and videos directly to the model elements that were being tracked in our progress solution, again, tied to the schedule activities directly, so they could understand all the context behind why something was or was not on track. This eliminated the need to leverage multiple contracts and contacts for additional information verification.
Okay, so let's talk about project managers for a minute. Every PM on this call right now has had to pull together a weekly update. So let's explain to everyone like how does progress actually help there?
Sure. This This is where structured field data really shines. Because progress is tracked at the model element and schedule activity level, we can automatically roll that up into reports, percent complete by area, system, and level.
So basically, instead of manually counting or gut checking.
Right, you have real numbers backed by field verification. PMs can walk into an OAC meeting, or a weekly huddle, or a daily huddle for that matter, with actual progress and production data backed by visual proof, not just estimates.
And just to confirm, there's issue tracking and reporting too, right?
That's right. So as you can see on the screen here, once this model and schedule are linked through our platform, you're able to understand percent complete by scope, trade, and understand what that means for your target dates. And to your point, Jill, flag problem areas directly into the model so that you understand issues and the notes corresponding with them related to the numbers.
So when I first opened, we talked a little bit about why is this better than the old way. And so, Garrett, let's be honest, people, they are tracking progress today. So what would you say is broken about the traditional approach?
We touched on it with our two client examples, but many teams still today rely on spreadsheets, PDFs, whiteboards, or some combination of that with someone's memory to understand where a project is in real time. This gets more complicated the more trades and or subcontractors you have on site. This process is inherently manual, delayed, and disconnected from what kicks off a project, which is the schedule and the model, leaving room for interpretation and or approximation of actual progress. Additionally, various trades and disciplines will take their own approach, right? As I mentioned, to monitoring progress and reporting, providing issues with consistency and conversion for team leads. Basically, now someone has to interpret all the data that's being brought manually. And all this rolls up into recurring issues with reporting, forecasting, and payments on projects, making leadership or management of a project a bit of a guessing game. And your experience will take you further than your data will at that point. We think it should be the other way around.
Yeah, because that's where the trust kind of starts to break down.
That's exactly right. Progress connects updates directly to the 3D model, tied to the schedule in real time, with photo verification enabled, so that you have a single source of truth everyone can rely on consistently.
And we get asked this all the time. So kind of compared to other tools out there, how does, progress stack up?
There are a lot of technologies emerging on the market. We won't shy away from that. We think our solution is a perfect sweet spot for what the industry wants right now. A lot of tools are either too complex for the field or too high level to be useful. Numerous solutions exist that deploy 3D image capture on site for comparison to BIM models. These require post-processing, which requires lag in deployment of information, and don't tie necessarily to a schedule or its activities. So it's a geometric comparison. Other more advanced solutions deploy something like LiDAR or scanning technologies. These typically require third parties with equipment to deliver the data for analysis, further complicating field progress capture and coordination. Progress focuses on being incredibly easy for crews to update while still giving the office structured, reportable data. You can do it with an iPad.
Cool. So it sounds to me like it really works for the people doing the installing as well as the people actually running the project. So that was helpful. So talking a little bit about kind of like what comes next, and before we wrap up, I'd love to talk a little bit about the future, Garrett. So what is coming next for Progress?
There are a lot of exciting things coming down the pipeline. So some of the feedback we've gotten is that I want to be able to track more. So we're continuing to make field updates even faster by expanding how progress data connects to the schedule and planning workflows. This is the ultimate goal is to not just see what's done, but to better predict what's coming next. Tactically, that means expanding progress tracking to include elements not modeled. So things that wouldn't necessarily make their way into a BIM model that you'd then be able to still progress against your schedule, uh, including things like checklists, sign-offs, tagging, the activities that are required to move beyond just, I'll call it installation or construction into commissioning that helps an owner and the construction team or the commissioning team and the operator for that matter understand what it is that's happening and why I'm delayed. This data will help customers better forecast work and problem solve issues delaying a project. We are also looking at integrating progress with our incredible AI engine that we have as a separate product, Project Intelligence, to develop risk identification. As our AI scans what's happening in progress, it'll understand key themes in performance, issues, and the root causes, and be able to feed that back to you in real time. So you'll have the mechanical progress and production data that comes from progress with the insights behind it.
I mean, this all sounds really exciting. So, I mean, we're moving from that reactive reporting to more of that proactive decision making.
That's exactly right. We're helping teams stay ahead of problems instead of discovering them too late.
So I guess to everyone listening, if you're tired of chasing updates, relying perhaps on outdated reports or walking jobs just to confirm what's already been installed, we'd love to show you progress in action, and we'd be more than happy to give you a demo.
That's exactly right. We have off-the-shelf demonstrations we can show, and we can also, if it feels appropriate, tailor a demonstration to your workflow or project type.
Yeah, I mean, just drop your info in the chat, reach out after the webinar. We're happy to continue the conversation, dive in a little bit deeper, and hopefully this was a helpful call. Thank you everyone for joining us.
Happy to field questions this time.
Yes, let's see if we have any questions. I do not see any open questions here. I don't know if anyone wants to send us questions privately or here in the chat. Feel free. Well, I'm not seeing any questions on my end. Wait, is there? Oh, someone asked a question, Garrett, when are the new updates coming?
The short answer is this year. And so we're looking at expanding the type of data we take first, the different, I'll call it forms and other model types. That'll be Q2, Q3 of this year. The AI integration is looking at the back half of this year right now, is the current plan. It's a great
Cool.
question.
Very exciting. And we always roll out updates on our LinkedIn. Our marketing team is always on top of that. Anyone else have a question? You could drop it in the chat box. If not, this video will live here on our LinkedIn page as well as our YouTube channel. And I think that might be it, Garrett. I don't see anything else.
Well, I know we did a really high level overview. And so if you have technical questions, you want to walk through, again, an actual demonstration of the system, what it means to set up the model against the schedule, how we do that, how we measure within that model space, and then how that information is reported, please do reach out and let us know. We're very excited about this product, and we do think it is I'll call it the perfect fit for where the market is right now.
Agreed. Well, thank you, everyone. I think that is all for this chat today, and we'll stay tuned for the next one.